Les Spurs retrouvent les finales NBA 10 ans après.
Et nous y sommes.
Ce qu'on n'a jamais vu un tel phénomène.
Mais je crois qu'il est dans une dimension encore supérieure.
D'aller en finale et peut-être de remporter la bague de champion.
On est parti pour 10 ans de domination terrible de Victor sur cette ligue.
Il n'y avait pas de Spurs ici?
Coming off a defeat to the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs are by far having the best offseason in all of professional basketball. And training camp hasn't even started yet. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Wembanyama has the majority of his teammates on the Spurs in Paris, France. I believe they're visiting his old stomping grounds. I believe the pronunciation is Nanterre. Anybody who's French, let me know down in the comments below. How did I do? But let's get right into this. So 2 weeks ago, I made a video about Jaden Quintance and Terrence Reed Jr., the two players that they drafted this year in the 2026 NBA draft, and how they will definitely assist the San Antonio Spurs in taking it to the next level and becoming champions. But in this video, I want to take on a few topics. First is Victor Wembanyama working with Hakeem Olajuwon. The second would be the roster that are training in Paris together and building chemistry as a team. And the latest in the update about Stephon Castle. So let's jump right into it. All right, so for those that don't know, Hakeem Olajuwon, the legend from the Houston Rockets in the early 90s is when he really made a name for himself. So if you're wondering why are all these players working with Hakeem Olajuwon, all right, let me give you some accolades for those that aren't familiar. Hakeem Olajuwon is a 12-time All-Star, a 2-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, the 1993-1994 most valuable player in the NBA, a 6-time All-NBA first team, 3-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-Defensive first team, 4-time All-Defensive second team. He led the league in reboundings twice, and he's the 3-time blocks leader in the NBA. And this is why so many players choose to work with him and train with him in the offseason to improve and add things to their game. A list of players that have trained with Olajuwon that are notable are Giannis Antetokounmpo, Carmelo Anthony, Blake Griffin, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and now Victor Wembanyama. If you think about it, Victor Wembanyama has a post game, however, he wants to polish it. One of the things that a lot of us respect about Victor Wembanyama is his commitment to becoming better, right? Better than he was yesterday, and that's his goal. He just wants to become better. He wants to be a champion. He wants to be the best that he can be, and in turn, ultimately, be the best. All right, I went on record. My prediction is this year, Victor Wembanyama will win the Most Valuable Player award. You know, barring injury and things of that nature, he should run away with it. And it's just my opinion. He's got two guys now off the bench that can give him some rest, and they're both rookies. You know, they're 23 years old and 19 years old respectively, Terrence Reed Jr. and Jaden Quintance. So now you can allow Victor Wembanyama to get some rest to not only make it past the minimum 65 game threshold, but to have just some rest heading into the playoffs. You know the Spurs are going to either be first or second, maximum low of third, in just my opinion, in the Western Conference. And that will allow them to have a not easier, but consistent path back towards the NBA Finals. Because once you make it to the Finals, think about it. If you're a struggling team, right? A few years ago, they weren't even in the playoffs. So your goal is to make the playoffs, right? Then once you get in the playoffs, your goal is to make the second round, then the third round, and then the conference finals, right? And then the NBA Finals. So once you make it to the NBA Finals, now you got to go win that thing. You feel me? So it's like now the bar is set so high, you got to go win. Now, of course, the Spurs are an organization that they've been winning championships for years, back in the Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and then the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Greg Popovich has a winning culture in San Antonio, and it's so refreshing that the San Antonio Spurs have constructed a roster to get back to this stage, right? So a huge credit goes to the Spurs roster and the GM Brian Wright. All right, now Wemby training with Hakeem Olajuwon is vital because, as I mentioned before, he has a post game. However, he needs to polish it. And when you're 7'5", if you have a low post game in today's NBA, if you can shoot over anybody, like I said before, you might as well shoot over everybody. All right. And if he has that fadeaway, if he has that knee extension, if he has that Dirk fadeaway, similar to how when Kevin Durant developed that and added it to his arsenal of moves, right? Kevin Durant's bag is deep. We all know this. And these are the type of players that consistently add things to their repertoire in the offseason to get better and take their game to the next level. So now that Victor Wembanyama is working closely with Hakeem Olajuwon on the low post, it's not just low post moves, it's defensively, right? Victor Wembanyama alters every shot when he's in the game. If you're heading to the basket and you see him there, you might kick the ball out on a play where you would normally drive to absorb the contact and shoot your free throws. If you feel like there's a high probability you're going to get blocked, this is the type of player that just affects the game, period. All right. So now when he adds low post moves, counters, drop step, the dream shake, you know, everybody's familiar with Hakeem Olajuwon, your game just gets heightened to the next level. Right? You have to contest him at the three-point line. You have to contest his mid-range, and he's quick. His strides, he can get from the three-point line with a running start, pick up his dribble in 2 steps and dunk the basketball. It's a dangerous player, right? When Giannis, for instance, worked with Hakeem Olajuwon, it was in 2023, I believe. So it was about 1.5 years, 2 years after he won his championship. Why? Because he knows he needs to get better. Once you get a championship, it's to go back and win it again and again and again. You can't have a regression to the point where you're losing in the first round after you've won a championship. And players like Giannis, players like Victor, players like Kobe, LeBron, Blake Griffin, Carmelo Anthony, they know that you have to get better. You have to consistently add to your game, because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, even if you stay the same. All right. Now, next, I want to talk about the Spurs roster in Paris. Now, there's recently been this photograph with Carter Bryant, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama, Tobias Harris, and who's this right here at the end? Jordan McLaughlin. All right, these guys are all out in Paris having a ball, working closely together, building chemistry. All right, there's off-season workouts, and you know what? These are the type of things that bring your team together. You want to hang out together. And like I mentioned earlier, it's not even training camp. These guys have their off season. They're planning their lives around it. Their vacations with their spouses, their vacations with their homeboys, time spent with family. And they realize that basketball is the main thing. So as much as they want to go out and have fun, they said, you know what? We fell short of our goal. We don't deserve to have fun right now. Let's go put in that work and get in the lab and grow together. And then maybe next summer we can go back to Nanterre a little bit later after we go on vacation and have fun and ball out and pop bottles. You know what I'm saying? These guys are committed. These guys know that basketball is the main thing and they're putting it first. All right. Similarly to what just happened in the news recently, I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Anthony basically paid for the flight and accommodations for the majority of their teammates on the Minnesota Timberwolves to head over to France as well to play with Rudy Gobert. Okay, so that roster is building that chemistry and that camaraderie as well, and they're going to be a force in the Western Conference. I'm not saying they're copying the Spurs blueprint, but of course, Wembanyama's from France, Gobert's from France. Go ahead and work out in the offseason, build that chemistry together. All right. Now, lastly, Stephon Castle was rumored to grow from 6'6" to 6'8" in this offseason. And everybody was wondering, how is this possible? This is a 21-year-old man still growing, still having a growth spurt. Check this out. This is from Spurs GM Brian Wright. Okay, as follows. Stephon Castle has grown 2 inches during the offseason and now stands 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. According to Spurs GM Brian Wright, Stephon Castle experienced a 2-inch growth spurt over the offseason, bringing his height to 6 feet 8 inches while maintaining a 7'1" wingspan. This increase in height enhances his versatility on the court, allowing him to effectively guard and play positions 1 through 4, and which is significant for both defensive matchups and offensive flexibility. This team is dangerous. This team is getting better, bigger, faster, stronger. I would say not only obviously look out for the San Antonio Spurs this season, but the work that Victor Wembanyama has been putting in with Hakeem Olajuwon, the work that the team has been putting together in Paris, France, specifically Nanterre. Again, somebody please somebody French. There's got to be somebody French that knows the correct pronunciation. Is it Nanterre? How's my French? How is my pronunciation? Is it okay? Oui or no? Vrai ou faux? All right. Anyway, enough of that. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Or as Carter Bryant would say, peace.